Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Terry Fossum is here. Terry L. Fossum is here. And he has got a radio voice coming from a man. Your host, Mitch Carson, was a CBS radio show host here in Los Angeles some years back. He's got a rich bass voice, professional microphone. Terry, welcome to the show.
Mitch, thanks so much for having me, and thank you for everything you're doing to help people. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you have a perfect synergy for what I provide my clients today. And you brought up, well, there might be an overlap. No overlap. I look at collaboration because nobody can wear every hat. And I want to dig in what you offer as an amazing authority, hence my name, the Amazing Authorities Podcast.
Right.
I only interview people that are authorities, most of whom are authors. Tell us about your book that you wrote and where that's been.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very blessed to have written 4 books.
boy.
One of them, #1 best-selling book on Wall Street Journal, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble, best-selling book on USA Today. A couple more that I didn't put through any sort of programs. And then the one we'll probably talk about today has won some awards, The Simple Guide to Public Speaking Without Losing Your Lunch. And it's recommended by everybody from astronauts to beauty queens to academia. It's pretty fun.
Well, let me go back to, you slid over this, and I appreciate the humility. Most authors, independent authors, if they have the luck of getting published, I have one of my books published by John Wiley and Sons back in 2008, and that was not an easy task. That came after independent, but the world has changed. You said Wall Street Journal bestseller. Is that correct?
#1 on that list, yeah.
That's huge. Amazon is, of course, its own algorithm, and the ultimate, the Harvard of publishing is the New York Times bestseller list, and that's usually 8,000 to 10,000 books in a week. So I'm quite familiar with what it takes. But Wall Street Journal, I believe, is about 6,000 books have to be sold in a week.
Okay.
How did you do that? I mean, that's a huge feat. So I think I want to give that some light here because you deserve it.
Well, my team deserves it in all honesty. It's about working with good people, just like in everything else. You work with good people that know their job and you get out of their way and let them do their job. My job was to write a book that I felt really, really helped people. In this case, get over the fact that 92% of the people who set a goal fail, and there's a reason why. And I developed a technique that's been called the biggest advancement in the science of goal setting in recent history by one of the 50 best brains of science in the world. So I felt it was good, and they got it out there. So starts with having quite frankly, a really great book, really great information that can help people, and then have the right people out there making it happen.
So what's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce to the goal setting?
Yes.
Okay. It's actually the subject of my TED Talk, which
great.
Yeah. And well, I know we're going to talk about that. Did really well too. Very blessed with that. But the bottom line is prospect theory, Nobel Prize winning science. So this is the real deal. This isn't the latest whatever. Taught us that we'll do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. We'll do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. So no matter how much positive visualization, manifestation, etc., bunnies and unicorns we do, we associate pain with getting out of our comfort zone. So therefore, we won't get out of our comfort zone because it's more painful than the positive visualization. What the ox cart technique teaches is combination of the carrot and the stick, thus ox cart. So if you can create a scenario, basically, like Gene Kranz said, failure is not an option. If you can create a failure scenario that's more painful than getting out of your comfort zone, it will kick you out of your comfort zone. And that's the only way you're going to get out and stay out. And this book takes you through using that, not just for business and those type of goals, but relationship goals. Marriage is a goal that 50% fail at.
Oh, yeah.
finances, health, everything. It takes you through real life examples of how to apply this. And it's been really helpful to a lot of people.
And do you have that book handy?
Yes, here we go. The ox cart technique. There we
I
go.
love it. And you've got the badge up there with #1 bestseller on the
You
Wall
bet.
Street Journal. That's, yeah, I mean, that's a big effort. I'm going to buy the book myself and write a review
Right
because
on.
that can help me, because I know we are programmed to avoid pain and
Yes.
seek pleasure. I
Yeah.
did not know that there is more focus on pleasure does not draw us as well as avoiding the pain.
Right. Right. Yeah. When quite frankly, and I know we're not here to talk about this, but when I wanted to do the research, again, as a mechanical engineer, I'm a geek. True scientific research is trying to disprove your theory. And as I went to try to disprove my theory through different scientific journals, that's when I started realizing that when I came across prospect theory, that no, this is way rooted in science. In fact, the gentleman that wrote the forward for the book did his PhD dissertation on prospect theory.
Wow, that's amazing. See,
Isn't that cool?
I love that, the psychology of what it takes to
Yeah,
win and how do you get through that pain. And I I, I get it. Makes a
you're gonna
lot
love
of
the
sense.
book.
Yeah, I love it. You're also a big fan of TEDx. You've got
Yeah.
a high highly viewed TEDx talk. You've done it more than once. What did you do in order to create that? I think I'm getting the impression you come from excellence. You don't play small, because if you to get Wall Street Journal bestseller, which is a big feat, that's a very big feat. And then to be on not one TEDx, but two, but also use it as a huge tool that you've leveraged. What did you do?
Well, actually, in fairness, I've only been on one.
Okay.
But that one debuted at #2 in the world and was called one of the 30 most impactful TEDx's of this century. So I figured I'd stop there. That's good enough. And because quite frankly, my goal was never to have multiple. That'd be easy. But I don't like easy. But rather, okay, now we've got that. How can we use it, as you and I were talking about ahead of time, to forward my speaking career and my coaching and everything else? How can I use it to help people, but also to forward what I want to get out there to the world and what's going to come back to me?
That's exactly the reason I use TEDx. I got tired of all my students asking me, "Hey, have you done TED or TEDx?" I said, "#1, there's a difference. You
Right.
know, the biggest names in the world get an invitation to speak at TED. The stepping stone is TEDx." So I accepted one of my students who went through one of my programs, organized a TEDx in Kuala Lumpur,
Oh, wow.
and I went. I was the only professional speaker out of the 14 that spoke at this event. The rest were amateurs. One person read from note cards. It never made to the show. It never made it. And I worked with this woman beforehand. I said, "Listen to me. I was teaching speaking mastery back at that time, not keynote speaking, as I mentioned before we started this recording." I said, "You can't do that. You're not going to be included, and trust yourself. You know this material. Nobody in the audience won't know it." She wouldn't listen. She came out, and of course, she got excluded. She used her note cards. Oh my gosh, rank amateur.
Yeah.
And then another person spoke instead of 18 minutes, which was the cutoff. He ran 32 minutes and
Oh.
started dropping F bombs throughout his presentation. And he was a clinical psychologist talking about the in outs of sex.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
can't direct you to his presentation because it never got published.
Sure. Sure.
And I went exactly 17 minutes and 58 seconds and did not get included. I have all the proof that I spoke at TEDx.
Oh, wow.
My topic apparently got screened and did not get approved.
Okay.
And I would say my TEDx experience, and this will lead into your thorough program.
Sure.
How would you have eliminated that? The organizers were not on top of their game.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
video footage was poor. They had
Mm.
one camera and the guy didn't know what he was doing. It was terrible footage. And there are varying degrees of TEDx organizers.
Yes.
Some are big and some are parlor or what have you. Tell us about that, because I went in brand new. Now I've ticked the box. I have no interest in doing another TEDx because I speak for a fee, not for
Right.
free.
Right.
And it was one that I did just to put the arrow in the quiver.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so many things to unpack there because you could not be more right. In fact, I'm probably going to be telling your story.
You
Here's the
can.
Indeed, I shall. Here's the deal. First of all, and this will lead into a free tool we're going to give your audience. Let's talk about it right now. I'm working with AI at a very, very high level. Again, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a geek. I
Mhm.
really dig this stuff. And this free AI that we're going to give to your audience is going to take their idea, and it's based on all of the best TED and TEDx knowledge in the world. And it is going to analyze it for getting onto a TEDx stage. It will give them a percent chance of it actually getting there. If that percent chance isn't high enough, it's going to work with them on refining it to where it will be. And all of this is for free. So critical. You could not be more right. But also to get the attention of the TEDx organizers, because most of us don't know somebody who's putting together a TEDx talk and who's putting together the venue. So we need to compete with the other hundreds of people who are going for that seat. It's got to be something that grabs their attention, makes them want to look at you. And that's what this free AI will do for everybody who's listening.
Is it a GPT that you're talking about? So it's a GPT that you've created?
It is based on the GPT format, but again, understand I'm working with AI at a cognitive level higher than 99% of the population. So yeah.
Well, no, I just want to unpack it a little bit because
Yeah.
I created the very first chat GPT conference in the world two
Hmm.
and a half years ago in Vegas, right when it came to market. I had
Love it.
563 people in a room here in Vegas, all paid
Love it.
$600 to come and attend. Since that point, it's evolved into GPT. I just spoke at an event last week in Thailand that was 8 days, and the organizer created GPTs for different business sectors. So I'm somewhat familiar with
Right
what
on.
you're talking about. So that's why I was curious, is it a GPT which then takes the questions and takes them intelligently down a rabbit hole and then gives them a great output? Is that what it is, or is there more to it?
It takes it and refines it and refines it and refines it and gives them what they are looking for. Yeah, it's something that'll truly help them.
And then after, because I just went through this and I have 80 new clients that bought into my podcasting program. That's why I'm bringing this up, because they could be people that might benefit from your tool. And
Yeah.
it is, and then it will give them the probability. And then what else? There's a paid portion to this later if they want to grow larger and then utilize this information to ensure a stage, or what, it'll increase their likelihood, or it just doesn't stop.
TEDx will not allow you to do a pay to play circumstance. So I can't say you will get a stage, but
Unlike somebody else we talked about beforehand.
right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, I've run my entire life ethically, and I stick to
Mhm.
that in everything I do. But first of all, it'll also take you to a training from me that's going to give you great information if you want to do this yourself, rock and roll. I don't recommend it. But when you get into the program, it will, first of all, really help you hone down your message in a big way. It'll help you write your talk. It will find the best TEDx stage for you based on your topic, but also that it's going to, see, Mitch, sorry, microphone hit,
Right.
that you nailed it. Not all TEDx stages are alike. And this one analyzes those stages for you and gives you a star rating of that TEDx venue to tell you if you want to waste your time or not on that one. It'll help you write all your promotional materials for it. Again, help you write your talk. It has coaching from me on there along with all these AIs. And once you've done your talk, it helps it go viral, writes your press releases for you, your email, your social media. It's insane. God, I wish I had this when I was doing my talk. Maybe I'd
Oh,
make
don't
number
we?
one.
Well, I just wonder, I'm going to go back because I did this talk pre-pandemic in Kuala Lumpur,
Mm-hmm.
because I lived back and forth between Asia, but I was principally living in Asia during that time, running my events in Singapore and Malaysia. And one of my speaking mastery students was organizing this TEDx at in International Medical University, which was
Okay.
where they were hosting this TEDx talk. And I was there. I would have liked to have known that my topic wouldn't have been
Yeah.
cleared with TEDx, because I spoke exactly on, I never go over as a professional
Yeah.
speaker. I know exactly my time frame, timed it. You know, I had to interview a week before to make sure that my talk would adhere. So I had these 22-year-olds reviewing a person who's been on the stage. I've now been a speaker for 41 years, but at
Yeah.
that point, I've been on stages 34 years. So it was 7 years ago. And spoken around the world. And I'm having these kids evaluate me, whether or not, and they were coaching me on my talk. Now I had to humble myself
Yep.
because they're the
Yep.
organizers. They know the TEDx format, but I'd been
And very,
teaching speaking for decades
yeah.
and all the proof of it, but I had to listen and adhere to their strictures.
Right.
I did that, but they didn't do something that was critical. I wish I had your tool then. It would have given me the probability of it getting cleared.
Yes.
And whether that topic would have been flagged, they weren't knowledgeable. They were medical students who
Yeah.
did this on the side. Maybe it was an extracurricular to boost their resume. Who knows?
Right.
Would your tool have been able to prevent the outcome
Zero
I had?
question. Zero question in my mind. I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
Zero question in my mind. And before you even got into the program, this free tool would have saved you right there. And it would have honed your message to make it to where it would get on a TEDx stage.
That's great because that would have saved the embarrassment
Yeah.
and annoyance. I have my presentation on my YouTube channel
Mm.
because I did present. Is it on the TEDx? No, but I did speak on a TEDx stage. And like, as we both said, I've done it one time, have no interest
Yeah.
doing it again. Why? I've already done it.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
it. And I don't
But
care about the credibility is there. I already have the
I-
credibility from other accolades, but it was a missing feather in my plumage because
right.
we are peacocking as speakers and experts.
Well,
You,
and if you go to a good venue, you're going to get amazing footage of you on a TEDx stage with professional video, usually a 5-camera shoot,
Mm.
professional audio that you can use on your speaker reel, on your website, on any email you send, on everything that really jacks up that credibility in a huge way. So being on the right stage can be amazingly beneficial in so many ways.
How did you secure your spot? Now you paid a service, X amount of dollars, and then you learned from that, but it didn't deliver as promised. Is that sort of the story? Or?
Yeah, you and I, of course, were talking ahead of time. Up there, there's a very well-known name out there that promotes TEDx speaking, and I paid I think 10,000 plus to take his course, and I wasn't personally impressed at all. Got a couple of things out of it, really did. There's always something you can learn, but I found out even some of the coaches hadn't done TED Talks before. So that's why when I put together my own program, I was like, okay, first of all, I'm not going to charge $10,000 for it. But secondly, it's going to be the most powerful coaching program in existence in the world today. And I honestly believe that that is exactly what I've put together here because I won't settle for anything less.
And you then booked your own TEDx through your own hard work and effort. And is that what honed your skills in order to create this tool, which will give somebody a better chance of getting booked?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A much better chance of getting booked. And I tell all of my secrets, all the things you have to know if you're going to get booked. And if you don't know them, you won't get booked. And that's the bottom line. Most everybody who applies does not get booked. There's a reason why.
And why did you get booked?
In this case, in my case, and I teach this in my course, so we're giving some of the secrets away. You start speaking locally on your subject, and then people know that you can speak on your subject, and they like what you're saying because you're honing it, and I teach you how to do that. So then when your local organizer is looking for a good speaker, they will reach out to other leading members of the community, oft members of Rotary clubs, chambers of commerce, etc. And when they go, hey, who do you know that's speaking well, has a great topic? They go, you know what? I saw Mitch Carson. He was fantastic. He had you ought to talk to him. And that's what happened.
So you you create your own little orbit, your own
Absolutely.
solar system of localized speaking.
That's one of the techniques to book your local one. Now, also, we've got the things where you can book some of the biggest ones in the world. We've got all of your things, not just local, and not just in your country, but around the world as well.
What are the biggest TEDx stages? We know about TED. That's a whole different discussion, different animal. I would love to speak on TED because of the credibility. Doing,
Sure.
but where are the biggest TEDx's?
LA is one of the, if not the biggest in the world. That's a big one. But I would say you don't have to get on the biggest stages, but rather you have to make yours the biggest talk. And that's the important thing. So you take the footage, whatever stage you were on, and amplify that footage, which of course the course helps you do as well. So don't spend too much time just trying to get on those big stages, but rather use your materials in the best possible manner to get the most bang for the buck, because you can do it.
So, what did TEDx do for you?
So it is amazing. First of all, like you said, I am quite amazed that people love these TED Talks so much. They are so popular. So like we talked, I'm the #1 best-selling author in the Wall Street Journal. I won a survival reality show. I've done a lot of really cool things. Does anybody run my own podcast? Do people care as much? No, when they hear, wait, you did a TED Talk? I'm going to have to go watch that one. It's amazing to I could be in the hardware store. When they find out I did a TED Talk, suddenly they're interested. It's crazy.
Yeah, and there are the people I know in my network. There was one of the speakers that came and spoke on my platform in Manila. That's largely my market is Asia. And I
Right on.
had this big event in Manila, and he was a 5 or 6 time TEDx speaker. And that was his whole branding and a radio show host. He was super proud of that because he had done it multiple times. And that snowballed into more TEDx speaking opportunities for him that brought him outside of the Philippines and went over. That's where he hung his brand.
Okay.
I've known a few people that do that. Now, did he get paid speaking gigs out of it? I don't know. I can't answer that. But is that what typically happens for most people? Is it monetizable?
Is that what typically happens for most people? Absolutely not.
Okay.
What happens for most people is their talk sits there and they go, I did a TED Talk and I
Mm-hmm.
got 5,000 views. That's what typically happens. If we're being completely honest here, that's why it's not about that. It is a stepping stone. It is not the final answer. You use that TED Talk to build on, to sell your product, your service, to get your name out there, whatever it is. That's the critical thing. Having a TEDx talk, some people come on board. That's their life goal, having a TED Talk. Rock on. But most of us, no, we want to do more with it. And that's what we teach.
That's great. And I use the TEDx talk as a confirmation feather in my peacocking.
Right.
I've written books, best-selling books, not Wall Street Journal. I've got to give you, wow, that's impressive because I haven't done it yet.
Yet.
Yeah, well, that's achievable with the steps. That could be a whole separate conversation what you did. Yeah, I got a great team. That was a lot of, okay, that was why it worked, but not how it worked. There are a lot of steps in there, how you
Sure.
do it, much less going through your training. People will learn how to do it. You freed up one tip. Okay, localize first, and then it'll mushroom from there. Great.
Right.
Still, people need the training. You
Yeah.
gave away one tip. I'm sure there are 30 in there, or
Many more.
yeah, and the consistency with the coach. I guess this robotic coach that's on your shoulder, do this on this day, do this the following day, follow this path, the proven system. Like you mentioned, you're an engineer by training, so it's A plus B equals C. And that's an inviolate rule. It's called a provable axiom. And that's what takes. Similar, my background was broadcast journalism, but I loved math. It all makes sense. Follow the proven path. The yellow brick road exists for a reason, not in our minds, as a reality. You
Right.
also teach people the art of keynote speaking. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. One of the things also I learned as an author, and now, so of course I'm in contact with a lot of authors. Most people's book just sits there. That's all. Oh, I've met some amazing people. Like really known people, and their book just sits there, and that's all that came of it. They thought it'd be more. They thought it'd be their ticket to greatness. The big deal. Usually it's not, much like a TED Talk. It just sits there unless it's used correctly. So I have two different speaker programs right now. Both lead into the world-class speaker program, which I've built. One of them, and I have free tools for everybody for all of this, will take your book, and writing a book is different than writing a speech. It'll analyze your book. It'll pull out the best stage-worthy message from it and give you, in this free AI, once again, it will tell you where your target audience is. It will give you an idea of, with your message and your target audience, what you can expect to make per speech. Now, you and I are going to talk more about selling from the stage, different topic, but this will tell, just for giving the speech. I was just on the phone with someone, on the Zoom with someone who just getting $2,000 per speech would change her life. Well, yeah, you do one of those a week, it adds up to some pretty good money for most people. And $2,000's low level. This will tell you what you could expect to make giving a quality talk in that environment. It's going to do all that for free. And then it will take you to a training from me that'll help you out even more on what your next steps are. Whether you work with me or not, you're going to come out of there a lot better off than you went in. And I have the same thing for non-authors who have what they believe is a great idea, but they can't get in. It's a hard industry to break into. They can't break into it. This whole thing helps you go from I've got an idea or I've got a book to I'm making a lot of money every step of the way from somebody who's done it. It's not theory.
Idea to income.
Idea to income. Yeah, well said. Well said. That's exactly correct. And it takes you every step of the way with some highly trained AIs and my own coaching as well.
How did you get into the speaking business? I mean, if you're to be a serious speaker, we probably have, because we all converge. If you're successful in the speaking industry, you end up teaching it to other people later in life, or you produce your own events. I've produced 2,000 events in my life around the globe in 19 different countries. I found that the most successful authors in the world, and I've shared the stage with some of the biggest in the world, I could name drop, but it's not necessary.
Sure.
All of them had books and weren't just single book authors. Many cases were multi-book authors.
Yeah.
And they got into this. For example, I shared the stage in London at the O2 Arena with Sir Richard Branson. He is not a speaker. He can only be interviewed.
Right.
That's his style. He will only be interviewed. Jack Welch, the former CEO of General Electric, only gets interviewed. You think these highly regarded, prestigious CEOs, they're scared poo-poo.
It's true.
Yes.
I'm working with Larry Namer, the billionaire founder of E-Entertainment TV. He just got a big announcement that I won't make. I think it's gone out to the airways right now. But same thing. He said the exact same thing you just said. I get interviewed. I'm afraid to talk. So he's in my TEDx program.
And he'll learn how to then deliver an 18-minute max speech. That's great.
He decided he wanted to do it.
So you're an electrical engineer by background. How did you get into the speaking world?
Mechanical engineer as it is. Boy Scouts. Isn't that funny? Boy Scouts. I grew up as a scout and I learned how to speak through scouting. And then I got into the military from there and I started speaking. From there, I got into direct sales and I was speaking. So I have been speaking for quite some time. That being said, it's a whole different ballgame to break into the paid speaker world.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm looking for that hinge. Where did you pivot in order to turn this into money?
So I was talking to John Maxwell, and I asked him, as I want to do that, how do I do that? He said, become known for something. Become known for something. So first of all, okay, then I need to become a millionaire. So I did. And now I've got something to talk about. But even that wasn't good enough. And you'd think it would be. That TEDx makes a huge stinking difference. Again, I'm really surprised at that. But when you've got that footage you can use in your reel, you've got the validation of being a TEDx speaker, and you've got all of that training behind you. And then, of course, the promotion behind it. But that's why I wanted to have something that can help the average person who is not a millionaire, or didn't talk to John Maxwell, or that can go through a program, get certified as a world-class speaker program, get on my own speaker venue, and have access to my agent, who's a celebrity agent. You can't find that out there. And I wanted to be able to provide it for them. And again, put together what I believe is the single best speaker program in existence today. And I really feel we've done so.
That's great. That's great. And what do you recommend a speaker to do? Should he or she write a book?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Now, that being said, it's funny we're talking about this because I got hit with this yesterday by somebody who is looking at getting into my program,
Mm-hmm.
but said he also wanted to do a book. So I sat down yesterday and worked an AI. It's in progress, mind you. You don't build it in a day, but that will help you take your ideas and it'll work with you much like a ghostwriter would. Pull all the ideas out of you, help you put them. I won't say it's ghostwriter quality. I'll always shoot straight. I'll always be honest.
Sure.
But it will help you organize and put all of that together in a way that I wish that I had when I was writing my books. And that will probably be an offer that I'm going to be making very soon. Because, yes, I believe a speaker should have a book. Again, it's validation. Now you're an author. It makes a big difference.
And it also, for me, when I wrote my book, my personal income went up 16-fold
There you have it.
because it was mindset. It wasn't just that I had a book. It, of course, opened up more stages because I was legitimized, credentialized. I felt I deserved more
Right
money.
on. Right on.
Felt I deserved.
Yeah.
I then operated at the level of the peers that I was sharing the stages with because they had books.
Right.
And if you're in that company, you're going to either rise up to join them or
Yeah.
you're going to sink.
Yeah.
And it's a choice. It's a conscious choice. That's why I was
Yes.
asking, where was that moment for you where you decided, because it's a distinct decision. I know you
Everything
mentioned
is.
Sean Maxwell was someone that helped you pivot. For me, it was a man named Dan Kennedy in the marketing world. Dan was
Familiar.
my leader of a mastermind I belonged to for 9 years under his direction. And
Right
he
on.
said, you got to get a book. You have that MBA, but that's more bad advice. I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? That's how he turned my 2.5 years of study and
Nice.
crushed it into more bad advice. All right.
Thanks, bud.
Time and money I spent for that label to
Yeah.
add to my Bachelor of Arts in Communication. All right. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Dan. And you know what? He was right. And he also said it jokingly because he's not an educated man. He graduated high school and that's it. But his bank account versus mine,
Yeah.
his was bigger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I listened. And for anybody that says the bank, what you have in the bank doesn't matter, they're fooling themselves.
They are
does
fooling
matter.
themselves. Even if I was just talking with another person looking at coming on board the program who is a philanthropist, has a lot of nonprofits. And I said, the biggest thing you can do to help those nonprofits is make money. Because as somebody that works with a lot of them, they all need money first, and then they can get staff. They can get facility. You got to have money, whatever you want to do.
It's the oxygen for any body.
It is.
Without oxygen, you don't exist.
Yeah.
And money is the oxygen. So
It
true.
is.
So Terry, where can people get a hold of you? Let's talk about the TEDx tool first.
You bet. The best way to start on that course is go to ideascore.ai.
Ideascore.ai. Okay.
You
I'm going to
bet.
check it out myself and
I
go
would.
through it and see how it works. Ideascore.ai, because I have a database of clients who might be interested. So I'll certainly be able to direct them, people that are listening to us today. Any closing thoughts? What would be your best advice to a new and emerging speaker?
It's not about you. It's not about you. First of all, stage fright, imposter syndrome, all that. It ain't about you. It's about your message and how it can help the audience. So when you're writing your talk, when you're doing, it's all about that. It's all that the people who are going to hire you care about. They don't care about you. Sorry. They care about how you're going to help their audience. That's the biggest thing there. If you focus on that, you'll get over your fears, your self-doubts, your excuses, and you'll move forward because now it's a passion. It's something you truly believe in. And passion is the most powerful force on earth.
That's great. Well, you've been a great guest. I can see me inviting you back in the future. And potential collaborations are certainly there because we address the same audience, just have different offers.
Absolutely.
Terry, thank you so much for your time today. You're a true pro and you've got a radio voice in case they haven't told you. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks so much, Mitch. I appreciate it. Go get them, buddy.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to mitchcarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.